Hello, everybody! Welcome to Superhero Deep Dive. I am your host, Jason. I have a great episode set up for today. And then I am going to get off here and go spend my daughter's birthday with her and the rest of my family. It is her sweet 16. So if you are watching on YouTube, say happy birthday to Jubilee, my daughter. Alright. And if you're not on YouTube, you can catch me on Twitter or Instagram under Super Deep Dive and use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. Send a happy birthday to Jubilee there. And if you are watching on YouTube, once again, it's Superhero Deep Dive. And you can catch me on Outworld Fleet Radio. That's www.un-con-ventional.com/radio every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day. And you can always send in special email if you'd like to say happy birthday to my daughter. It's her sweet 16. My email is b4itall, so b4itall@yahoo.com. Whew. Now, with that being said, I also have to give my normal disclaimer that the information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. So, with all of that being said now, I'm going to talk about Ambush Bug. Ambush Bug was a viewer request from YouTube. I've seen Ambush Bug around, but I didn't know a lot about him. I thought there would be more information, but apparently there just isn't a whole lot. But I have some good ideas for him. So, Ambush Bug, his real name is supposedly Erwin Schwab. He was created by artist Keith Giffen as an intentional silly character. So that basically means he was just there to be comic relief and be basically a throwaway character, which is fine. That's fine to do as well. He first appeared in DC Comics Presents number 52, which was back in 1982, and would make appearances in several other Superman-related comic books in the early 80s. Paul Kupperberg, who wrote Ambush Bug's first story, recalled, "As Keith Giffen was in the office, he sat in on the plotting and offered up Ambush Bug as an antagonist. The bug is entirely Keith's creation." Giffen has also stated that both Ambush Bug and Lobo were derived from Lunatic, a character he created in high school. Giffen said that in his original pitch, it was called Bugs Bunny as a supervillain. So keep that in mind, because that's where they're kind of pulling this from. Alright, so in response to positive reader reaction to the character's first appearance, editor Julia Schwartz directed Giffen to create another Ambush Bug story for DC Comics Presents number 59. That's actually pretty cool that they got good reaction to the point where we're looking at a matter of between 52 and 59, so within a matter of 7 issues. Now these issues weren't done, they were done monthly, but they weren't done on a month-to-month basis. They had already have an issue done a month or two ahead of time, right? So we're looking at not over the course of 7 months, but actually the course of probably over 4 to 6 months. This character is getting reactions. And that's back before internet, message boards and stuff like that. So that's actually really fast feedback for a character. Alright. At first, Ambush Bug was a villain named after a type of insect and dressed in a green skin-tight suit that covers his whole body with 2 orange antennae. Inside his hollow antenna, he carries miniature robot bugs that possess the ability to teleport him around. While attacking Superman and other heroes, Ambush Bug decides instead to be a superhero as well. He also fancied himself Superman's friend, which only annoys the hero even more than his early villainy. The costume then becomes permanently affixed to his body, and he gains the power to teleport by himself while trying to fix one of the miniature bugs. It ends up exploding, causing a chain reaction, and the blast destroys all the bugs and tints Ambush Bug's costume temporarily black. He then becomes capable of teleporting even without the bug, briefly considering changing his name to the Black Beetle instead. Well, let's be glad that didn't happen, right? Ambush Bug became popular enough to be featured in 2 comic book miniseries and several specials, plotted and penciled by Keith Giffen and scripted by Robert Loren Fleming. The series contains many comic book enthusiasts and DC in-jokes and satire. Series editor Julius Schwartz is also a character in the book. Now, during his own 4-part miniseries in 1985, he picks up a doll and, thinking it's alive, adopted it as a partner called Cheeks, the Toy Wonder, complete with its own costume. In 2001, he made his first appearance as part of a superhero group called the Justice League of Anarchy, which also included Plastic Man, the Creeper, Harley Quinn, Amazing Man, and the Trickster. This group of DC Universe troublemakers made a 1-panel cameo in a series exploring variations of the JLA acronym, JLA Justice League of Amazons. Ambush Bug is largely considered an absurd character and is rarely used by other writers, though he still exists in the DC Universe and occasionally still appears in some comics. This is mainly because they don't know how to write him. If he's so absurd, if he's so kind of wacky, it's actually really hard to write because you don't want to make the wrong kind of joke. You don't want to overstep it, you know? So it's really hard to kind of go from that. His popularity amongst creators has led to many cameos, sometimes with as little as just his antenna being visible. In 2006, he appeared as part of Firestorm's short-lived Justice League of America in 52, which was number 24 at the time. And Giffen, who is the creator, actually did layouts for that. His powers appeared in Proxy and Countdown to Final Crisis number 32. Jimmy Olsen briefly gains the appearance of Ambush Bug and subconsciously uses his power of dumb luck to locate Forager. After being championed by DC coordinating editor Jan Jones, a new 6-issue Ambush Bug series, Ambush Bug Year 1, debuted in 2008, plotted and penciled by Giffen, and written by Fleming, with Jones herself serving as editor. The final issue was published almost a year after the rest of the series. Dan DiDio claims to have lost issue number 6, and instead they skipped it to finish off with issue number 7. That's pretty funny when it's all said and done. Ambush Bug was seen in the new Doom Patrol series in 2010 at the end of issue number 9, arriving with his luggage and Cheeks. He appeared semi-regularly until the series ended. He also made another appearance in issue number 46 of the outside of regular DC continuity, Tiny Titans. And in with the 2011 initiative of the New 52, which rebooted the entire DC Comics monthly comic series, Ambush Bug is shown to be a news reporter in the feature Channel 52 that appears in the back issues or in the back of all New 52 publications. These characters are acting as correspondents, summarizing recent events in an in-universe style. Ambush Bug, however, is the only character who appears in costume, and as is typical for his appearance since his creation, appears to understand that he is actually in a comic book. Kind of like Deadpool, right? Like they had to merge that, because every comic company needs their own version of Deadpool. Some of them need multiple versions, right? Okay. So that was his history. It wasn't very big. It wasn't a lot. But he's really championed by Giffen. Like, his creator is 100% behind Ambush Bug. And that's kind of cool. To have a character that you have loved so much that you are just constantly fighting for that. Like, that's pretty cool to say. Alright. But what do you guys think? Pretty interesting, right? Well, let's get into his powers. Alright, Ambush Bug's primary power is teleportation. At first, this was just a function of his suit, And he was limited to teleporting to where small receiver bugs were located. Later, after an explosion, Ambush Bug internalized this power. It became apparent in DC Comics Presents number 81 that the bug used to have to say Simon Says to teleport, but it is no longer necessary. Ambush Bug is also aware of his fictionality and aware of events in other publishers' comic books. He once has shown being able to follow the internal dialogue between Firestorm's component personalities. I had a really hard time saying Firestorm just then. I was like, Firestorm. Ermagerd, Firestorm. Sorry, I got off track. Okay, Ambush Bug also shows surprising agility and skill at unarmed combat, such as gouging the eyes of enemies attacking him from behind, or knocking out members of the Legion of Substitute Heroes with a single blow. His unusual way of thinking is also a great advantage, and often allows him to guess opponents' tactics and outmaneuver them, humiliating them in the process. Despite all this, Ambush Bug is simply a skinny man in the costume and can be defeated with surprising ease by more ridiculous characters. Serious foes like Batman or Superman have great difficulty dealing with him, but other lunatics can deal with him easily. And that's probably because Batman or Superman try to outwit him or outsmart him. And that's why, like, characters like Joker, for instance, is so hard for Batman to actually defeat. Because they're not predictable. And their minds are trying to outsmart these characters. And you'd realize that a lot of these characters make a very basic plan and then just shoot from the hip. And that's like their strategic ability, is that they know how to capitalize on situations. But anyways, fun facts about Ambush Bug, because we are just moving right through this mamma jamma. Ambush Bug appears in the series finale of Batman the Brave and the Bold, Mightfall. He tries to thwart Batmite's attempts to make the show jump the shark and force its cancellation while assisting Batman and Aquaman in fighting Gorilla Grodd. While Batmite succeeds and has the series replaced with a Batgirl series, Ambush Bug reveals it will have a dark tone and will not feature Batmite before organizing a rap party for the Batman Brave and Bold cast. Ambush Bug also appears in the DC Universe Online. He appears in Scribblenauts Unmasked. He's also a playable character in LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. In 2005, WizKids added an Ambush Bug figurine to their HeroClix line, and in 2008, an Ambush Bug Mini-Mate was released in a 2-pack with Lobo, which is kind of awesome because the guy that created Ambush Bug, Keith Giffen, also created Lobo. So this was like, that's so cool, right? He gets a Mini-Mate 2-pack with the two characters he created. One is like his favorite character that's not well known. The other one is known everywhere, but doesn't get talked about a lot. So, you know, that's kind of cool. But what do you guys think? Like, this is pretty interesting, right? Let me know. Hold on one second. Thank you. Sorry, I wanted to sip my coffee and I didn't want to pause my recording. Because I am so not technologically sound to where I would ruin it. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Send me an email at b4itall, so b4itall@yahoo.com. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram under superdeepdive, and I use the hashtag superherodeepdive. Or you can catch me on YouTube under superherodeepdive. Comment, like, subscribe, share, give me critiques, give me requests for future episodes. I have so many lined up, but I love adding to the list because that means I keep going. I keep having a job with it, right? So, we'll do that. Send my daughter Jubilee some love for her birthday, but only in the appropriate kind. Say happy birthday, wish her well. She's 16 today, and by the time you guys will hear it, it's a Tuesday that this gets released. So she is 16 in 2 days because her birthday is Sunday. So now you know I'm recording on a Sunday today. But anyways, let's go into her power, like the power expansions for Ambush Bug. This is where I go in, I look at the character, and I say, do they need a live action series? Do they need an animated series? Do they need a new comic book series, like a storyline? What would happen if we were casting this? Who would we cast as Ambush Bug? What would the story be? Stuff like that, you know? But yeah, so let's get into this. Like, Ambush Bug, Ambush Bug, Ambush Bug, Ambush Bug, Ambush Bug, Ambush Bug. What to do with Ambush Bug. So, like I said before, this was a request, and he seems like a really fun character. But I honestly don't know what to do with him long term. There's just not a lot of information out. There's not a whole lot of like gems in his story to pull something out long term. But I do have an idea for something that could happen, and it actually could be something really special within the DC cinematic universe. So check this out. Let me lead up to this. Okay. So we have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? And it kind of established its own niche, so to speak. Like, we know that every movie and most of the shows will have an end credit scene. And you know, sometimes it's more than one end credit scene, but we know that it has an end credit scene. And when he was alive, so rest in peace, Stan Lee would have a cameo somewhere. It was in every Marvel movie. Like, I think there's only been 1 or 2 Marvel movies that haven't had an end scene. I think there's actually only one. I think that was Endgame. But most of them, you know, all the others have had end scenes. Most of the shows have had end scenes, at the very least for their finales, right? So it's kind of become expected. Now, the after credit scene has become so ingrained in superhero movies that it's expected from all of them. But we all know, you know, deep down, we all know it originated with Marvel. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But I do believe that the consistency of superhero end credit scenes is a Marvel trope. So, you know, even when DC has it, we know that they did it because Marvel made it popular. They may not have been the first, but they're the ones that made it popular. Right? I think we can at least agree on that. So, you know, so DC needs to establish something that they can have as their own. And if it happens anywhere else, like the extra credit scene, it's automatically associated with DC. Like, that's something that they need. Because their movies, overall, they're not the best, but they're not bad. I mean, they're taking they are running with their biggest characters. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. It's really hard to mess with them. It's really hard to adjust things. It's really hard to tell new stories because they've been around forever. That's why you see like a lot of Spider-Man movies are pretty similar, unless they change stuff. Like, you know, that's one of the reasons why Marvel has become successful in things like Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, Guardians of the Galaxy, because they were characters that have been around a long time but aren't as well known, so they have a little bit more freedom, more liberty with them, right? DC needs something like that. So here's what I've got. And I think that Ambush Bug is like the perfect character for this endeavor. Like the perfect hero for this. Before every DC movie, there should be a small animated short starring Ambush Bug. And it can be in different styles. Like, we can have something dark. We can have something like Looney Tunes style. It can be a bunch of these things. But we have to remember, DC does a lot with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes became really popular as animated shorts before a lot of movies, if I remember correctly. And if I'm wrong, let me know. We can have a discussion about it. But because that was before my time. But still, from what I understand, there would be these little Looney Tune shorts before a lot of movies, almost like the trailers, but this is something that they can do. So they can do a small animated short starring Ambush Bug in different styles. They can be comedic, even if the movie is dark, because Ambush Bug was developed as a comedic character. But let's have him stop some crime or defeat some thug, something like that. And it can be in the most random way possible, given the situation. Okay? So you with me so far? Like, I know it's not holding you, but stick with me. Here's the kicker, though. Somewhere in the movie, let's have a reference to that animated short. Okay? And, like, let me give you an example. So let's... I went for the Black Adam movie that's coming out soon. And the only reason I did this is because it's coming out soon. So we can actually use this at the time of the recording. So let's say before the Black Adam movie, we have the first Ambush Bug short. Ambush Bug ends up randomly teleporting to Bialia, which is where Black Adam is based in. At least in the comics, and I believe it's in the movie as well. Those desert scenes are Bialia. And as he teleports in, like maybe he teleports in like instead of on the ground, like a couple stories up in the air, and crashes. Like he teleports in, falls, and crashes into a sign for a local shop or something. Like it could be on a pole, and he bends it, breaks the sign, so you see it kind of hanging there. But when he does that, he lands on a guy that turns out to be a thief that was robbing the store. And therefore, he stops the crime. Okay? Come up with some kind of fun, random saying, or, whatever. You can have him walk off, trying to figure out where he is. Bialia, I believe, is similar to Egypt or near Egypt, so he can start looking for mummies, and he can throw in a little one-liner like, "I want my mummy," and whatever. I don't know. What do you Sphinx? I don't know. Something stupid. But it could just be enough for a little chuckle. Okay? But later in the movie, we see a battle or something like that. Like I know on the trailer, there's a sign with Atom Smasher, and he's giant and he's fighting people. Well, let's see a battle, but in the background, we see the shop with the broken sign. Like it could have been a corner shop or something, and the sign that's sticking out, it's all bent and it's broken like it would be in the animated short. It's stuff like that. It could be a lot of fun. It could help DC get their own niche. And with Ambush Bug, he'd be a perfect fit for something like this because he wouldn't necessarily interfere with the storyline. We don't have to see him anymore after that until, the start of another movie. But the fact is, he would still be in the universe. And he's just, basically, he'd be like that Bugs Bunny, just crazy kind of character. But that's what I have. I don't have anything long-term. I don't know how often they could do it. I would love to see, but I think something like in those little short bursts, so we basically get, let's say they have 2 or 3 movies a year. I think that's kind of what Marvel's record is as far as movies, not necessarily the shows, but movies themselves. 2 or 3 a year, right? Sometimes it seems like more, but I don't know. But we'd see them very limited throughout the year, and it'd only be a couple minutes at a time. And then you're just seeing other things. Or what if you see him doing something and he like pops out, but whenever he teleports away, it's like maybe a green flash or something. Well, what if in one of the movies there's this random green flash in the background, where that's where he was. Like he saw that there were superheroes, so he teleported out so he wouldn't get caught in all that. It's just stuff like that could really engage the audience, because then the fans would start looking for it in everything, and it almost become like a game. Like that's one of the things that really intrigued me about like movies like X-Men, for instance. you go in and you try to find out of all those little students that are mutants at the academy, which ones can you recognize? So I would watch it, and then I would buy the DVDs and I would watch it over and over and over again to try to identify as many as I could. And then I would look for it online to see who found what and kind of compare and contrast notes. Did I get all the ones they found? Did I find someone that they didn't find? Did I find one that I thought was one character and they think it's another? And then we have to kind of debate, it could just really engage the fans. And I think that's something that DC really lacks, is something that's engaging. But I do think that this could be something interesting. We can even have Ambush Bug meet other superheroes and then have him be referenced, say in Shazam 2. Because I know that's down the road and that deals with an ensemble cast. One of the let's say the purple one, the sister that runs super fast, she's super sweet, in the movie, in the original movie. What if she sees the Ambush Bug in the animated short, and then they're later talking as their superhero, as a Marvel family, or Shazam family, however they want to reference themselves in the movie, and all of a sudden there's a comment by one of them at least, look at these suits, well, at least we're not a bug, and it could be reference to that animated short, but it's something that's included in that people would get engaged in. So that's my whole point with that. But what do you guys think? Like I said, let me know if you're watching on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe. Please help me grow the channel. I am trying to get up to 500 subscribers before I do my first giveaway. I really need all the help you guys can give me. I would appreciate it. If you are listening, or I don't know, let me just tell you where I am. I'm on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive. I post videos every day during the week with little shorts of superhero memes. I have other videos, miscellaneous videos, coming out every Friday. I have the podcast coming out with slideshows every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So I would really appreciate you guys interacting and helping me out, helping me grow the channel with watches and subscribes and stuff like that. You can catch me on Twitter or Instagram under Super Deep Dive, and I use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. You can email me directly at b4itall@yahoo.com. And you can catch me every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day on Outworld Fleet Radio. Their website is www.un-conventional.com/radio. And I believe that is everything. Oh my goodness. So, with all of that, with this whole thing being unpackaged, my friend that requested Ambush Bug, I hope this helps. I hope this satisfies your hunger for knowledge and ways to expand the character. I would love to debate on whether or not you think more could be done. And if you do, if you want more to be done with the character, shoot me ideas. Let's talk about it. Let's go back and forth. I love having conversations with you all. In the meantime, I hope everyone is blessed. I hope everyone is happy. I hope everyone's safe, and I hope everyone is smart. And remember, if you're not smart, don't get caught. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.